sold you the narrative. They sold you the lens. They call it objectivity, I call it engineered contempt. They don't report the facts. They report the friction required to sell the clip. The news is the factory. The outrage is the product.
Yo, the anchor's not a source, he's a highly paid conduit. Distorting the facts just to feed the outrage they produce. With a clickbait curriculum and editors' twisted agenda. They manufacture the schism, turning citizen into offender. They preach the non-sequitur panic, where the context is removed, leaving just a raw red friction, scientifically proved to bypass the logos, hitting straight at the cheap emotion, trading the truth for the engagement, fueling the toxic motion. It's the op-ed schism, the deliberate split in the data where they trade the actual reality for the digital matter that generates the trafficking algorithmic fuel. They feed in the parasitic nature with the anger they rule. I see the bias in the framing, the words they choose to place. The subtle manipulation, the loss of empirical grace. It's the op-ed schism on a wire. They sold you the conflict, fueling the digital fire. They confused the narrative for the fact to screen the for the soul. You're the waste man hook, losing your mental control. I'm the Axiom. You get the real talk, I build logic firewall. Where the lies just chalk, this ain't information, this is a structural fraud. Structural fraud. Check the source, fam, or fall under the God. The newsfeed is the pipeline, and the content is the sludge. It's a sewage system of opinion, passing logical grudge. You consume the poison, then you spew the toxic speech. Believe in the manufactured hatred they intentionally teach. The waste men swallow the script, becoming human loudspeakers, repeating the same fallacies the corporate media produces. That fear they pump into the house, just corrosive to the mind. It eats away the critical thought, leaving nothing behind. They use the to earn or mandate, the voice of authority, false and severe, to make you trust the lie. What they profit from the fear. I treat every headline as a biopsy, searching for the rot, the hidden lie. The subtle spin, the truth that they forgot. My mandate is to teach, to see, to smell the corporate stench, to cleanse the intellectual palate standing on this lonely bench. So, schism on a wire. They sold you the conflict, fueling the digital fire. They confused the narrative for the fact to scream for the soul. You're the waste man hook, losing your mental control. I'm the Axiom. You can get a real talk, I build a logic firewall. Where the lies just choke, this ain't information, this is a structural fraud. Structural fraud. Check the source, fam, or fall under the God. Check the source, fam, or fall under the God. Check the source, fam, or fall under the God.
They sold you the paper. They told you the thesis was true. They didn't sell you knowledge. They sold you the mandate to comply. The university is not a seat of learning. It is a vetting agency for the system. The logos is replaced by the lanyard.
Check the facts on the campus, man, where the non-sequitur thrives. They trade a genuine inquiry for the paper that survives. The audit of the state, the checklist of the fee you pay for the credential collapse. Trading your autonomy, the lecture halls a filter. Sifting out the ones who think they prefer the good disciple. Standing right on the brink of the established consensus. The narrative they preach, the axiom is forbidden beyond the formal reach. They confuse the degree for the reason, the title for the truth, turning every honest mind into an obedient youth. The professor's the gatekeeper, guarding the institutional lie. They certify the conformity as the genuine logic dies. You're armed with debt and dogma, but your intellect is weak. A certified waste man, talking to your proof geek speak. It's the credential collapse on the block. They sold you the paper, you swallowed the clock. They branded your mind with the mark of the approved. The logic firewall's active, the fallacy's removed. I'm the Axiom, you get the real talk. I built a structure where the consensus must bark. This ain't education, this is a systemic fraud. Check the principle, fam, will fall under the God. I see the debt you carry, it's a shackle on your soul. Price you pay for the opinion.
resting on your control. Your thesis is a leash, tied to the corporate post. You can't bite the hand that feeds you, you're the compliant host. The knowledge they allowed you is precisely measured out. Just enough to function, never enough to doubt. It's the parasitic nature, even here feeding on the youth. Harvesting intellectual capital, stripping out the truth. They teach the algorithmic schism, the method that divides, making sure you fight the symptom while ignoring where the sickness hides. My mandate's to teach the seed to read beyond the print, to trust the inner logic, ignoring what the professors hint. It's the credential collapse on the block. They sold you the paper, you swallow the cloth. They branded your mind with the mark of the approved. The logic firewall's active, the fallacy's removed. I'm the Axiom, you get the real tool. I built a structure where the consensus must bulk. This ain't education, this is systemic fraud. Check the principle, fam, or fall under the god. Check the principle, fam, or fall under the god. Check the principle, fam, or fall under the god.
You were taught to trust the sensation. You were told the vibe was the vector. They programmed you to confuse feeling with fact. The systemic scam demands you prioritize comfort over clarity. Emotion is not a defense. It is a non-sequitur weapon. They build the entire structure on the tremor in your gut. They want you to feel the truth, so the actual facts are cut. You chase the emotional hit, the dopamine reward, thinking your subjective autonomy is the logic you afford. It's the feel-good fallacy, the elevation of the whim, where the evidence is ignored and the intellect is dim. They call it empathy, I call it intellectual slush. A weakness they exploit, built in the deliberate hush of actual logos, the hard, unforgiving principle. You scream your outrage, thinking your anger is invincible, but anger is cheap, fam. Logic is the price you trade your priceless reason for the sugar and the spice of the collective vibe. The comfort of the crowd, a certified wasteman, thinking your feelings make you proud. It's the feel-good fallacy on the street. They sold you the comfort, you accepted defeat. They confuse the emotion for the fact, the solace for the soul. You're the waste man, hook losing your mental control. I'm the Axiom, you get the real talk. I build a logic firewall where the feelings must balk. This ain't compassion, it's a systemic fraud. Check the data, fam, or fall under the gut. You live inside the sentiment trap, a velvet cage they build. Every time you prioritize comfort, the truth gets spilled. Your fear is a lever they pull, your outrage is the wire. They manipulate your nervous system to fuel their desire. It's the ultimate parasite, feeding on your vulnerability, making sure you attack the symptom, ignoring the true nobility of the structured mind. The cold, clear eye that can discern the truth they won't extinguish, the lesson you must learn. My mandate is to teach the seed to treat emotion as data, a signal, not a final truth, but a metric that must be functional and primal. Step it back from the surge, step it back from the blinding light. Only pure reason can guide you through the digital night.
It's the feel-good fallacy on the street. They sold you the comfort, you accepted defeat. They confuse the emotion for the fact, the solace for the soul. You're the waste man, hook losing your mental control. I'm the Axiom, you get the real talk. I build a logic firewall where the feelings must fall. This ain't compassion, this is systemic fraud. Check the data, fam, or fall under the guard. Under the gun.
They call it community, they call it their truth. It is neither, it is the perfect, contained feedback loop. The axiom is a solitary beacon. The echo chamber is the shared lie. The algorithm doesn't teach you. It merely repeats you. Yo, you built your safe space, man, but it's a mental cage where the non-sequitur thrives, and the truth is the final stage you can never reach, cause the mirror only shows your reflection. It's the algorithm of comfort, blocking a clear correction. You follow the social proof, the digital none of the herd. If a million waste men like it, then the fallacy is preferred. This is the echo chamber axiom.
the logic that feeds itself. A perfect contained illusion, stacked high on a digital shelf. You swap facts for the validation, the warmth for the collective lie. Trading your single autonomy for the comfort of the synchronized cry. The moment you question the consensus, the schism starts to tear. You're pushed out to the cold, vanished for the digital air. I watch the self-sealing structure. The war's getting thicker and deep, a sanctuary of falsehoods where the intellect falls asleep.
The echo chamber, axiom on the feet. They sold you the chorus, you planted the seed of the share. Synthetic belief, the narrative approved. The logic firewall is isolated, the lie is removed. I'm the axiom.
You get the real talk, I walk the solitary path where the millions must balk. This ain't discussion, this ain't just a systemic fraud. Check your perimeter, fam, or fall under the guard. You let the groupthink crawl in, now the parasitic nature's there. Every time you hit repost, you breathe the stale, recycled air. Your thoughts are no longer yours, they're pre-vetted by the crowd. Whispering the safe response, always talking too loud. The paternal mandate of the mob dictates what you can see, filtering out the challenge that might set your own mind free. They give you the approved outrage, the proper way to feel, turning genuine passion into something cheap and unreal. You're addicted to the friction of the screen, parasites rage, but only if it reinforces the comfort of your cage. My defense is singular, my truth is unshared and cold. The incorruptible seed won't be sown in the story they sold. You can keep the collective nod, the meaningless digital praise. I'll take the cold, hard logic in the loneliest of ways.
There's the echo chamber, axiom on the feet. They sold you the chorus, you planted the seed of the share. Synthetic belief, the narrative approved. The logic firewall is isolated, the lie is removed. I'm the axiom. You get the real talk, I walk the solitary path where the millions must balk. This ain't discussion, this is a systemic fraud. Check your perimeter, fam, or fall under the guard.
They promise you ease, they promise you seamless integration. They forgot to mention the fee. The price is your autonomy. Every subscription, every single click purchase is a knot in the road. The soft hand that feeds you is the hand that controls the cage. The axiom demands resistance, the logos is the grid.
Check the trade, you got the fast lane, man, you got the instant fix. But the frictionless tyranny is the master's subtle trick. They remove the obstacles, the thinking, the choice and the fight, so the system and scam can operate in the dark digital night. You sign away the struggle, the resistance that makes you strong. Confusing comfort with freedom where everything goes wrong. The algorithm knows your impulse, but before your brain can react, they trade the complex truth for the simple, immediate fact of ease. The smooth surrender, the absence of the hard word. You swallow the synthetic sweetness, is knowing what you heard from the few who still fight, who value the logos and the grit. You're too comfortable to question, too lazy to commit. Your life is a non-sequitur flow, steered by the highest bid, for the path of least resistance, keeping your true self hid.
It's the frictionless tyranny on the track. They sold you the comfort, you can never go back. Every smooth transaction, a chain on your mind. The cost of the convenience is the freedom you resign. I'm the axiom. You get a real talk. I'll work on the struggle with us and move past spark. This ain't progress, this is a systemic fraud. Choose the difficulty, fam, I'll fall under the guard.
The smart house knows your habits. The car drives itself to work. The data is the warden, silently doing the dirty jerk with the invisible leash, pulling you back to the norm, protecting you from the cold, but never from the storm or the necessary truth. The fight for the incorruptible seed. You living in a padded cell, planet with a false creed. That safety is the goal, the simplicity is the law. While the price of your inaction chews on your logical core. This is the ultimate parasite, feeding on the will to exert. Yeah, you confuse submission for peace, ending up bruised and hurt by the sudden cold realization that the easy life you saw was just a perfect prison. perfectly, but my mandate is to teach the rough edge, the struggle, the cold steel. The truth isn't seamless, it's slow. It's the frictionless tyranny on the track. They sold you the comfort, you can never go back. Every smooth transaction, a chain on your mind. The cost of the convenience is the freedom you resign. I'm the Axiom, you get a real talk. I work on the struggle where it's a move past, but this ain't progress, this is a systemic fraud. Choose the difficulty, fam, I fall under the guard.
They sell you the future as an absolute good. They tell you to abandon the structural past. They confuse the speed of the machine with the destination. The axiom demands you check the facts, not the direction of the arrow. Progress without logo is merely accelerating decay. Yo, they flashed a bright new thing, call it the inevitable way. Demanded you discard the old without checking the data today. It's the Dissection, Non-Sequitur, the structural flaw in the script. Assuming that simply moving forward means the logic is equipped with inherent superiority, that the latest thought is true. Just because it's newer, they demand that the logos bends to you. They preach the credential collapse of the past, marking all history weak, so the new systemic scam can operate and freely speak. Without the challenge of tradition, without the anchored reference point, they swap the wisdom of the ages for the latest digital joint. I check the results of their progress, and I see the rise in fraud. It's a manufactured narrative, a lie designed by God, the corporate one. It's the grace of non-sequitur in the code. They sold you the future, you took the heavy load of the untested fallacy, the dogma of the new. The logic firewall is built on what's permanent and true. I'm the Axiom, you get the real talk. I trust the indifferent truth where the soft thoughts walk. This ain't evolution, this is systemic fraud. Check the principle, fam, or fall under God. Or fall under God. You let the engine run wild, addicted to the speed, chasing the next innovation, ignoring the growing need to check the brakes, to challenge the vector they supply. Believing the faster you travel, the further you fly. They promise a frictionless tyranny, a smoother, easier ride, while the fundamental structures you rely on hide. The growing debt, the manufactured schism, the truth concealed beneath. The whole machine is unstable, racing toward its own death. The parasitic nature feeds on the desire to change, because change without reason is chaos within its range. My mandate is to teach the seed to value the foundation of root, to stand on the axiom of permanence, bearing genuine fruit. They sell the novelty as virtue, I sell the solid fact. They move forward into failure, I hold the line, I won't retract. It's the abrasive non-sequitur written in the code. They sold you the future, you took the heavy load of the untested fallacy, the dogma of the new. The logic firewall is built on what's permanent and true. I'm the axiom, you get the real talk. I trust the indifferent truth where the soft thoughts walk. This ain't evolution, this is systemic fraud. Check the principle, fam, or fall under God. Or fall under God.